Hello, everyone. Today we look at a simple question with very expensive consequences. Can Germany save its industrial core by freezing power prices at 5 euro cents per kilowatt hour? Short answer, it can buy time. It cannot buy a new energy system. From 2026 to 2028, the German government plans to cap electricity costs for energy-intensive industry at about 0.05 euros per kilowatt hour. The scheme targets sectors like steel, chemicals, and automotive, which are currently paying almost double what competitors pay in the United States. Germany is Europe's largest power market, consuming roughly 500 terawatt hours of electricity per year. So any intervention here is not a small pilot project. It is surgery on the main artery of the EU economy. Officially, the logic is noble and boring. Stop factories from moving to the US and Asia, keep jobs, stabilize prices during a messy energy transition. In reality, it's a painkiller given to a patient who needs spine reconstruction. Let's rewind a bit. 1. Post-2022 energy shock. After the 2022 gas crisis, wholesale electricity prices in Germany exploded and then settled into a permanently higher volatile range. When wind underperforms, hydro is weak, and grids are congested, Germany has to ramp up gas and even coal to keep the lights on. 2. Structural cost gap. Average industrial power prices in Europe are now roughly 3 times higher than in the US. For many German industrial users, total power costs land in the high teens to low 20s euro cents per kilowatt hour, while US manufacturers often see the equivalent of 7 to 8 euro cents. Compete with that in steel or fertilizers and see how long your P and L stays alive. 3. Green transition done by slogans, not by system design. Germany simultaneously. Shut down nuclear. Overloaded the grid with intermittent renewables. And left gas as the balancing fuel. Right before gas became geopolitical dynamite. The result is predictable. You get a system that works on paper and collapses in real-life weather, so now Berlin is not rewarding industry. It is paying compensation for its own strategic mistakes. Official packaging, targeted temporary industrial support for 2026 to 2028. The estimated cost is around 4.5 billion euros over 3 years. But strip away the PR, and you get 3 uncomfortable facts. 1. This is not a market, it's triage. The state artificially cuts prices for a selected group of big consumers. Everyone else, households, SMEs, less strategic industries, keeps playing in the expensive casino. The message is simple. If you're big enough to threaten GDP statistics, you get a cushion. If not, good luck. 2. The cap doesn't fix the cause, only the invoice. The underlying problems remain. Slow permitting for new grids and firm generation. Dependence on gas in a politically unstable environment. Over-reliance on weather-dependent generation without matching storage or backup. A 5-cent line on the bill does not move a single electron more reliably. 3. It pushes the political cost into the future. These 3 years are sold as a bridge period. In theory, by 2029, new grid capacity will be built. More flexible generation will appear. And the system will become more stable. In practice, if projects slip, and in Europe they normally don't slip, they hibernate, then Germany hits 2030 with, still expensive power, exhausted budget tolerance, and industry again asking, why are we still here and not in Texas? Let's talk about structure, not flags. Germany built its modern model on 3 pillars. 1. Cheap Russian pipeline gas. 2. Export-oriented heavy industry integrated into global supply chains. 3. Political commitment to a fast green transition inside the EU framework. After 2022, Pillar 1 disappeared. Pillar 2 is now hanging over the Atlantic, looking at US subsidies and cheap gas. Pillar 3 is still there, but it is now colliding with physical reality. Weak wind periods, limited storage, and grids that were never built for this mix. So what is Berlin doing with the price cap? It is trying to preserve Pillar 2 industry without admitting that Pillar 1, cheap fossil base, is gone, and without adjusting the tempo and logic of Pillar 3, transition. Instead of redesigning the structure, they are trying to hold it together with money and slogans. I'm not interested in cheering for or against Germany. The question is, how does this move shift the balance inside the wider system? Winners for now. Large energy-intensive exporters in Germany. They get breathing room. Investment committees cancel relocation for now and wait to see whether the grid and generation projects catch up. Non-European competitors? Ironically, keeping zombie capacity alive in Europe without fixing fundamentals delays the necessary restructuring. That keeps German companies half paralyzed and easier to outcompete long-term losers, smaller businesses and households inside Germany. The more selective the support, the more obvious the inequality. If you run a mid-size factory with high power use but fall outside the definition of strategic, you effectively subsidize someone else's 5-cent paradise. The EU's single market myth. Once a major member state openly subsidizes its core industry's energy costs, every other country takes notes. Expect a wave of copy-paste schemes under different names. Coordinated policy quietly turns into subsidy competition in green packaging. Credibility of the energy transition. When politicians spend years promising cheap green power and then have to cap prices to stop industrial collapse, even a very disciplined voter starts to suspect that something in the PowerPoint was optimistic. Roughly 3 paths. Scenario 1. Bridge that leads somewhere. Germany actually accelerates. Grid upgrades, firm low-carbon capacity, including nuclear partnerships abroad, imports, long-term contracts, realistic storage and flexibility solutions. By 2030, wholesale prices stabilize at a competitive level and the 5-cent cap quietly expires. This scenario requires fast execution, which is not a traditional European superpower. Scenario 2, endless emergency mode. The structural problems are not fixed, projects are delayed, politics stays fragmented. Result, new rounds of temporary subsidies, extensions, special regimes for new sectors, and permanent crisis rhetoric. Europe becomes the region where electricity policy is basically disaster management. Scenario 3, silent relocation. Even with the cap, some industries continue to shift capacity abroad, to the US for cheap gas and subsidies, to Asia for lower total costs, to energy-rich niches like the Middle East. The public story is, we are transforming. The statistical reality is de-industrialization under new branding. All 3 scenarios can run in parallel in different sectors. This cap is not madness. It's rational behavior in a bad position. Germany cannot afford to let its industrial base collapse. The EU cannot afford to lose its main manufacturing engine, so they cut prices with taxpayers' money and hope that time will fix what planning did not. But structurally, the message is uncomfortable. If your energy system is designed around ideology first and physics second, you will eventually subsidize your own mistakes. If you turn energy into a political weapon, don't be surprised when it explodes in your own grid. And if power prices become a question of national survival, you don't have a market anymore. You have life support. For industry, the question is simple. Is this a bridge to a new stable system, or is it a holding pattern before the exit door? We'll see which one wins, engineering or slogans.